Hello, and welcome to episode 37 of the Jumpcast. Um, I'm your host, Nick, for today, and we're going to be covering chapter 230 of JJK. Of course, I'm with my two other hosts today, Max 1 and Max 2. I don't know how we want to keep the names. We change the names every week. But yeah, we're back after a break. After a break of heavy speculation, that all went down the drain
Yeah, nothing
immediately.
nothing mattered.
So yeah, I'll give like a quick recap. I'll keep it really quick. Maharaga uh didn't adapt to everything that Gojo can do and just unlimited void. Sukuna puts him back. Gojo is really cocky and he's like, "Bro, you're fighting so goddamn hard to try to keep up with me." And then Sukuna's been pointing out that he can only use Cleave and Dismantle, and now they both overdid it. And apparently this was only round one, so a lot of stuff happening. If this is round one, I don't know what round two is gonna look like. So yeah, neither of them can pull out their domains. We see some really gruesome art of Sukuna's face trying to pull out Malevolent Shrine, and his eyes bleeding. So yeah, what did you guys think of this chapter? What popped out to you?
I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a really good one. Um, oh, sorry, I haven't fully collected my thoughts. I'm really liking that. Um, Gojo and Sukuna are on a lot more. They're starting to be on a lot more even terms. I guess, kind of not fully, but and then this fight could just come down to like a war of attrition. Honestly, like they're both slowly wearing each other down. um,
Yeah.
um, Also, like the explanation, if I'm interrupt me if I'm getting this wrong, of how Maharga already adapt is that he's been like binding it to Megami. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So how he's been making binding Maharaga to Megami, so he's already adapted to Infinite Void, which is kind of cool to think about, and could be really powerful. I think with um, the other Shikigami, because imagine he Demon Dog or whatever, he pairs it to Megumi, so Sukuna, when taking damage, the Demon Dog won't like go away or something, unless they damage Megumi's soul or whatever. I don't know if that's exactly how it would work, but that's kind of, I guess, my running theory on it.
I know it's that part was a little funky to me, the fact of like the rain was stuck to Megami's soul, which I guess like that doesn't make sense. I don't know how Megami's soul took the hit of Unlimited Void, unless like Sukuna switched with him in that brief moment when after like the what is it, the 2 minutes and 40 seconds hit. He's like, okay, Megami, you're gonna take this, and then we're gonna throw Maharaga out, okay, buddy? And while he's just sleeping at the bottom of his endless depression sea, he's like, okay, we'll do it. I'll do it. I'll get brain blasted.
Max, what do you think?
Yeah, that specifically was something that I was kind of curious about, that I'm hoping that we see a bit more information on. Overall in this chapter, I'm nice to see that we get a bit more explanation from the duo as they kind of take a second to take a breather here. But specifically, I'm curious how that worked when it came to Megumi's soul, I guess, switching out with Sukuna. I'm curious if Megami is conscious at all. It sure as hell does not look like it. I have a
Yeah.
feeling that it's probably Sukuna's just um somehow he's able to just very quickly and very easily swap him out and allow him to just take that, and maybe he's still able to puppet him somehow.
Mhm.
That's what I'm curious about, is how is this dynamic functioning in the way where it allows for him to just take an unlimited void just right to the face? Because, you know,
Mhm.
I think it's cool that um, that's how this was explained, how he managed to survive that, because it does make sense that because Megamine experienced the unlimited void, right?
Yeah.
For that point, what was it, 0.2 seconds? 0.02.
Yeah, or like point 0.1, I think even like not even like it totaled less than 10 seconds.
Right.
That's what they say in this chapter.
Hmm.
So even
So,
within like less than 10 seconds, he took it.
yeah. Which is interesting too, because then that means that everything he experiences, then Maharaga then automatically adapts to, question mark?
I think so. I think it's all just based off of the like it's literally all based on that rain. So I think the rain is like what lets him adapt, and Maharaga is like he's just that guy that comes with the 10 rings. So
Right.
like I don't know, it's like a weird three-person act where like
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
it's
It's
interesting.
weird.
It's also interesting that Sukuna uh stored away Maharaga again. Like he's not keeping him out either.
Yeah, well, what is it? That's the other thing that like so we had like all this speculation that like okay, so because how it was explained before, domain expansions are like the innate technique brought into life, like painted on canvas, like that whole spiel. Like
Hmm.
that's what Gojo gave. So everyone thought, oh, when Maharaga adapts to Unlimited Void, he adapted to all of Limitless. So like red, blue, purple, um, and Infinity. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It's just the Brain Blast.
Got it.
So
Okay.
Sukuna's still scared that he could like destroy Maharaga. And if he destroys Maharaga, he doesn't have the rain on him anymore, so that's like crucial.
Hmm.
So then what else? There were some other
Yeah.
big things as well.
Well, they both
Uh,
can't whip out their domains.
yes.
Yes, we're gonna get a, and I don't know if they're gonna. I doubt they're gonna try and do their reverse curse technique to get it faster. So this could be a pretty another
Yeah,
hands-on fight, which could be very interesting to see.
yeah. I like how we can also go into like translations because this chapter has been translated quite a bit differently between like fan translations and official, which we usually go off of official.
Hmm.
So, um just also for the brief explanation, although everyone should have read the chapter, um, the way that you heal back your curse technique after domain expansion is tearing apart the piece of your brain that has the curse
Which
technique,
is
and then at
the
the same
frontal
time
cortex,
repairing
I
it.
think they said.
Prefrontal, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Somewhere in the right prefrontal cortex.
Hmm.
Which makes sense because isn't it like left side brain, right side brain? Like one of them handles
Yeah.
mathematics, one of them handles like art, like the fine arts. I think it may be the right one. I could be completely wrong, but so
That's an
what Gojo?
old. Sorry, just to clarify with that, that's an old
No,
theory
break me
that
down,
isn't. Huh?
break it down, break me down.
Oh
It's
yeah.
because I'm getting this fixed up.
No, you're good. No, this is something that was it's something that I think was popularized in some movie or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but the concept isn't exactly true. Technically, according to the theory, right brain is supposed to be art, left brain is supposed to be mathematics and science and stuff, but in
Yeah,
actuality, your brain works in harmony and it's not really one half that does it. I think it's
yeah.
probably just a misconception based on how your limbs um um
Dominant
are
or
what?
like dominant, like left-handed and right-handed,
No,
or is
I
it?
mean kind of, not exactly. It's like the left part of your brain controls your right limbs, and then your right part of your brain
Oh yeah,
controls your left
like
limbs.
the
like
eyesight
this might be a
stuff.
bad example. Like Max, you're thinking of like you're saying it like you know the Jaegers in Pacific Rim. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
How like they each kind of control a side. You mean like that? The pilots inside of them? How they have the two pilots?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that I
okay,
could be
okay.
wrong also, but I'm pretty sure that that's the
No, it's
case.
Mhm.
Anyway.
good. Yeah, but anyways, besides the point, just so Gojo has been for the past 5 times breaking his brain and rehealing it as a way to get his curse technique back faster. And so then Sukuna's been doing the same thing. Gojo overdid it because it's super risky. Like Yuta points out, like that's such a risky thing to do because you're literally destroying your brain.
Hmm.
Um, and then Shoko points out that like Gojo is really good at healing his brain. So the fact that he could, like, what is it? How I read it is that like Gojo thought that he could do it more than Sukuna because Gojo is used to healing his brain constantly because of keeping Infinity on constantly. Um, so yeah. And then like the other thing that I wanted to point out was like Kusakabe like pointing out the brain is like a black box system because people were freaking out about um the fan translation because they said just like black box. And if everyone remembers back in Shibuya when Sukuna fought Jogo, he was like black box open. And then like he had the fire technique. So people were speculating like that's where you can change your curse technique or like get different ones.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
but this one is different. Like black box system is a theoretical thing that is like an input-output device. I tried to read the Wikipedia on it, kind of got a little confused, but um, it's it's used more in like a scientific term rather than like in a Jujutsu Kaisen sort of term.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah.
I know when I think of
Well, that.
black box, I think of like it's probably not one, but like a black box on like a plane. You know, like if they crash.
That one's separate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know, but that's like what I'm. That's what, like whenever they mention in the series and stuff, black
exactly.
box. I'm thinking something completely different though.
Yeah. Sorry, other Max, you had something to say?
No, that's interesting then. So then that explains. Yeah, I mean, you literally already you just said this that explains how it's possible for them to change curse techniques, specifically Sukuna. But one thing that's interesting though then is then how is Kenjaku able to maintain um that consistency with having several curse techniques? That's my question. Is because his brain is it's the brain itself that is Kenjaku, I'm assuming, because he's like
Yeah.
sucks out the other person's brain. But then how does he retain? Maybe he maps that part onto his own. I wonder.
Yeah, that part is a little confusing. I think that it's mainly like the engraving into his brain that's the best way that I can explain it. He also goes
Mm,
over like the whole spiel of like the body is the soul. Like when he's talking to Mahito in Shibuya, so it could be something like that that like um he was in Yuji's mom's body and like, hey, this is a good technique. I'm gonna absorb it
mm.
and like engrave it into my own soul.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, I see. So then the soul and both the mind and the soul can harbor that curse technique.
yeah, because that would explain Sukuna as well.
Yeah.
Because like there ain't a little brain in that finger that he cut off of Yuji's hand.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen it. I saw a theory on the subject of like black box, and we talked about like maybe it's how Sukuna uses his technique. Um, there's a theory. I don't know if it's a newer one or an older one, but each of the tattoos on Sukuna represents a technique. I don't know if they're going down the route of he stole, he obtained from other sorcerers or something, but that's how I saw someone describe the different techniques he has.
That reminded me of another theory that I just remember. So this goes like a long way back, I think. Um, like it was one of the chapters that Sukuna was out either in Yuji's body or he just got Megami's body, but there was an author's comment where like he said like Sukuna's gonna eat someone big. And so then somebody has a theory that Sukuna's gonna eat Gojo, which I mean I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but that's that's terrifying to imagine.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it a while ago that like that kind of fusion would be like the Kenjaku. That's Kenjaku's plan is that he's waiting for them to wear each other down and then he's just gonna eat them both.
Oh
um,
yeah. Yeah, what we talked about
Hmm.
last episode. So yeah. Um and then I guess I should also go over the how even less than 10 seconds of unlimited void destroyed Sukuna's brain as well,
Hmm.
which I love that like what is it? Gojo is the stronger one here. And it's proven right there that like Gojo burnt himself out, but in the process messed up Sukuna.
I think like look
Sukuna thought like
wise,
I have this big plan. I got this all figured out, and then it's like no, you ain't got it.
visually, Sukuna looks way worse off than Gojo. Gojo just looks like he's got a nosebleed,
Yeah, he
and
just got like a bad nosebleed, and Sukuna's crying blood.
yeah, no, it's very interesting to see where this will go. I really hope it does go down the route of like a more fair fight, of kind of honestly more a little bit maybe more of what we saw at the, like when they first started fighting, or maybe them trying to maybe Sukuna just getting pissed off, and I hope he just tries to like pelt Gojo with cleave and dismantle, and like level 3 buildings behind Gojo. Like it would be visually it would look so stunning.
Yeah,
It would, and that's the thing is that in this fight, he hasn't used Cleave and Dismantle yet, has he?
No, he
he
has.
has.
Yeah, in the domain
Um,
clashes, he's used it, but he hasn't really used it
Right, but he
he
hasn't
used
outside
used
it
it
of it.
one
outside of
other
that.
time. He used it one other time. Like he tried to do dismantle on Gojo, but he had Infinity, and remember, like the building got cut in half, and they were fighting in it.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. So, but this also leaves room for Sukuna to finally use other techniques, like Ten Shadows, or maybe even the Black Box, because that's what he said. Like I've been trying to engrave everything onto Megami, so I've been using his technique in the background while using
Mm.
Leave and Dismantle.
Well, maybe then if Megami does get his body back, maybe this means because he's engraving it onto Megami, maybe Megami will get Sukuna's techniques.
Oh,
Maybe.
Um,
I mean,
I think this is a long shot, but I'm just like spitballing, thinking out loud here.
mm,
yeah, I never really thought about that. That is possible.
Because we did get confirmation that Gojo was like, "Hey, Yuji, in time you can know Sukuna's techniques."
Sukuna's.
So
Yeah.
maybe there's a way like over time that after maybe like years or months or something, those techniques that Sukuna used, his cleave and dismantle would be like engraved on Yuji, or maybe adding on to maybe um, Sukuna doing it this way is speeding that process up, so it doesn't like take years or something or long amounts of time to engrave. But I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder, does that have to be an intentional engraving, or is it just the innate usage of it? Does that also engrave it onto the person's soul?
Yeah, that's true. Although I don't know how often. I think it kind of, in my opinion, maybe it's just purposeful, because like, um, of course we didn't see it because it was only like one flashback, but I don't think that we see Yuji's mom freaking duking it out with some cursed spirits or a sorcerer with some anti-gravity technique. I think that it may have to be a little bit more purposeful,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe Gojo said that with Yuji because after a long enough time, maybe he thought that Yuji would learn how to engrave that technique onto himself.
Oh, like teaching him how to
Um,
do that.
yeah, like getting him up there.
Yeah.
Like with how he like was trying to explain like what is it, imbuing Rika into like his sword back in JJK Zero Freaking Time.
I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack this chapter.
Um, yeah. I my best way to put this is that I feel like this is like a so like as I said, this is like round one, and I feel like this was Gege's excuse to like try to get them to not use domains for the entire fight. He's like, okay, I gotta figure out this whole process on why they both wouldn't be able to use domain expansions. Because I know that if I just ended it off like that, it would be boring. I
Yeah.
gotta keep this complex. And so then he thought about this whole roundabout way to get it so that they're both like severely damaged.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, and also another thing to point out with the uh, fan translations compared to the official ones, um, and even the guy that leaks the stuff, he said that Sukuna and Gojo are a lot more cocky in the official translations. Like like when Sukuna is like like that's why you're so mediocre. Um, I think the fan translations was just like saying just like you're just born in a different era. That's why you're so ordinary. But mediocre is just like another one.
Yeah.
And
I noticed like
when
when it's scrolling on Twitter and seeing translations on different like platforms. When the leaks came, I saw a few different ones. So I get what you mean.
yeah, and like the other one is like when Gojo's saying like my students are watching, so I'm gonna try to look cool. He said like so help me look even cooler, okay?
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, it's such a Gojo thing to say and kind of way to keep the fight
Yeah.
going, which was fun. Um, there's something I don't know if we touched on it at all last week, but something I noticed. I know Higuruma has not been shown in this chapter, but like, shout out to Higuruma. This guy's been like a sorcerer for a month, and like debating this fight, he's being able to keep up with everyone who's been sorcerers for like years and stuff.
Oh yeah. There was like I think that we did touch on it a little bit last time, but like Higuruma has like inner thoughts. It's just like, oh yeah, I
I
understand what you're
understand
feeling right
this like
now.
two like the two powerhouses of Jujutsu Society going at it, and he's like, yeah, I get all like this is easy. Like, come on, give me more of a challenge to understand this fight.
Yeah. Like I'm getting the fundamentals of this, like how, bro, it's been 2 months.
Yeah.
It's been 2 months.
Why are you being such a goat? Like, come on.
No, I'm
Um,
glad that we have a character like him who's able to understand it so easily because, I mean, for one, it is a good plot device in order for the audience to fully understand what's going on. But I think it's also just cool because then he's just also that guy, and you know we love people who are just that guy. So you know it's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun to see. Just in this series, I mean, like, I thought I was convinced this morning we were gonna have a lot to talk about, and you know we've talked about a bunch, but it feels like we've kind of have been talked about. Because everything we want to talk about, we talk about quickly, and then the rest of this fight is just kind of, like Nick has been saying, this is like a little cool down before round two, and we'll have a lot more to talk about next week, hopefully.
what is it? I saw one more theory. God, JJK TikTok helps so much with us doing these podcast episodes for me.
hmm
There's a theory that the um one of the ways that this fight could go down is that Gojo is literally just going to burn out his curse technique. Like he won't be able to use it again. But like the how he's gonna do it is by destroying Sukuna in any way, shape, or form. Because like he's using his curse technique at the end of it. He uses blue to suck Sukuna in for a punch.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's a really strong theory on how this fight can go. To have Gojo stay alive, but like at the cost of his curse technique.
hmm
Yeah,
And
I
also
that's
destroy Sukuna.
hmm
So yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. I think it'll probably end up that way.
Do you guys have any ideas on what's gonna happen next chapter? Anything at all?
That's a good question. I definitely think, like other Max was saying, that it's just going to become I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of really cool looking panels of them just absolutely laying into each other. I think that this stage of the fight is definitely going to be much more fist fighting, much more just seeing who can hit each other harder. Especially with the last 2 pages, that seems like a good teaser for me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see this fight for maybe a chapter or two. Just turn into like a boxing or like UFC match. Like, being like we've seen Gege draw beautiful, honestly flowing fight scenes, especially like Eugene Mahito during Shibuya. I should just say, anytime Yuji's had a fight, visually it looks like a UFC or boxing match. Bring that back with this fight. I'd love to see that. Like, I'd love to see them amp each other, or like them amping themselves with cursed energy with it. Um, we've seen like the visual representation with like the blue energy flowing around their fists, kind of that sort of deal going again. Um, I'd love to see them throw out some cheeky curse techniques when they're like Sukuna trying to throw out a cheeky cleave and dismantle, and Gojo trying to do a red and blue, and like I'd love to see him bring back, especially now that since it came out in the anime, the scene of him like destroying everything around him right before Toji stabs him with the azure blue, bringing
Yeah.
that like something like that again, like that would be visually stunning, and to see and definitely make this the best fight of JJK of the year.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
I agree. Fisticuffs is where it should go.
Mhm.
What is it? We need to see some black flashes.
Yeah, I didn't
Yes,
even think about
yes.
that. Like, come on. I was
And
assuming he
you
has, but
hear the
we've
word black
yeah.
flash and the whole crowd starts cheering. Let's go!
Mhm. Like yeah, I think a black like we assuming both these characters have hit a black flash. We've never seen them on screen on the page hit a black flash. It'd be very cool to see them actually do that going forward.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It would be so fun. Um, but yeah, it's so weird. We're back at like a middle ground. We don't know what's going on. And like last week, Gege just does such a good job of um keeping us on our toes, thinking like, oh, okay, Gojo's gone. Gojo's gone. It's like, okay, no, this is an even fight. It's like, nope, Gojo's gone. What's going on?
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
that he's
yeah.
just so good at switching up what we think is gonna happen with just some small thing that's so cool, and then it changes everything, and it's awesome.
Next week we're gonna be crying. We're gonna be like, Gojo's gonna die again. And then we're like, oh my God, Sukuna's gonna lose? What's going on?
It's this
What's
it's
happening?
we've touched about it before. It's this like extreme, like we're both on the extremes. It's like, oh my god, one week like Gojo's that guy. He's the goat. He's the goat. And next week we're like, he's dead. He's gone. Like, homies,
The
peace
series
out,
is
homie.
ended, guys. We don't know
Hmm.
what to do anymore.
Yeah, but
Yeah, this week is definitely a Gojo is that guy week.
yeah, like I think also someone there's a really good literally came out today, I believe, Broken Ronin video. I highly recommend everyone watch, you two and our audience, talking about this fight. Broken Ronin brings up a good point of he we see Gojo teach make me this the two ideologies of what is it like winning to die or die winning or so, like I don't know the exact phrasing, but those two kind of ideologies, and we see when Megumi accepts that ideology that Gojo wanted him to. That's when he brings out his domain at the end of season 1 and stuff. What if we see Gojo come out with that mentality in this fight? Like, what if we see him go completely pop off, completely unhinged,
Yeah, not play it safe anymore. He's like, all right, screw it. We're
like
gonna
I'm
go
sorry,
all the way.
I have to kill basically in a sense his adopted son.
Mm.
Like him realizing I want it. Like he's like, hey, I gave my chance to save Megumi. I'm sorry because we've already seen Yuji kind of accept that maybe it's gone. We saw him,
Yeah.
yeah, they first when he first swapped bodies, we saw him be like, oh yeah, you're just a curse, like that type deal. Where he's like, you're dead. I'm gonna kill you as soon as I can.
Hmm.
Mm. I agree, but there's also something sneaky about it. I think what is it? Uh I think a lot of the reason why Gojo is willing to go all out, at least somewhat right now, is the fact of just like, okay, I've seen this guy not die before. And it's the same thing with Yuji. Like when Yuji was talking to Maki, just like even if you kill this guy, he won't go away. Um, so I think that they're just really betting on, okay, they're gonna like punch a hole through him. He's gonna say, okay, I'm actually dead, and then it's gonna be him and Megami like in his depression seat, just being like, hey, how you doing, boss? Hey, do you want to make a binding vow? Do you want to come back to life, buddy? Do you want to see your friends? Um, do you want to see your friends? And like Megami's just gonna be like, don't talk to me right now, please.
Bro, I'm
Moving
chilling.
my feels. He's like
Yeah.
listening to Frank Ocean or something.
Frank Ocean.
Listen to Weezer. Or like that's the key to it all. They're gonna like punch a hole through him, and then they're gonna put him in the infirmary room with playing Weezer. What is it? Album Blue, and it's gonna bring Megami back to life. That's what
That
I'm
is right,
predicting at
because
the end of this
Megami is
series.
canonically a Weezer fan.
Yeah, it's his theme song.
Yeah.
Anthony Weir's theme song.
Um, yeah, no, I'd love to see that kind of, maybe if there's any way we could get that kind of binding vow that Yuji and Sukuna had, but more maybe in Megami's favor.
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna make a comparison here. So, if Megami does come back from this, and survives and has Sukuna still in him, whatever. There's this idea in the Game of Thrones series. It's more in the books, but anytime a few characters get resurrected, every time a character gets resurrected, they lose something. So like when what's her name, the Stark kid's mom, when she dies in the book and she gets resurrected, she loses the will to avenge the people involved. I think it's she loses the will to avenge her son that dies in the red wedding scene. Um, she only has the will to put a certain character on the throne and kill Jaime Lannister in particular. And then another character, every time he dies, he loses, like he's lost, like his eye won't come back, or like losing part of humanity or something like that. So maybe Megami's gonna lose something. We're gonna see a lot more colder, darker Megami. Like we're gonna see basically a Suguru
even
Geto.
worse.
Yeah,
Oh no.
yeah. I mean that could be way worse than I could be going this deep dark pit of despair thinking what Megami could
Yeah,
become. But that's kind of
that'd be
my
sick.
thought process of it. Like to get Sukuna to willingly, I guess not willingly, but to get Sukuna and him to switch, he's gonna have to give something up. I mean, potentially that he could have already given up that when his sister died or something. He could have. You say, oh, he gave up hope, and that's what he gave up. Like he's just, I'm gonna kill everyone. Like no, this is where like he is not scared to kill. I mean, we've already seen maybe kill someone, but this is where he's not scared to kill, or something.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah.
I'm, this is just gonna get more and more interesting from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is it? There was just another thing that I wanted to touch on, which is like at the last part of the chapter, like the two-page spread, if I can even talk, it says ultimate strength in the solitude it brings. I'm the one who will teach you about love.
Mm-hmm.
Those were like the quotes from like
Yurozu,
Yurozu when she
yeah.
fought Sukuna. Yeah. So I don't know how this is gonna tie into the fight, but I feel like it's gonna be something at the end of it. Like we saw the people always say like the theory like Sukuna's lonely as crap, which like he looked like it back in the Heian era. So like he's getting his worth out of this. He's not feeling lonely because he's with someone that's just as strong as him, if not even stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um, I'm I don't know how it's gonna tie in back, and I don't have any theories, but I just think that it's an interesting thing that Gege's trying to put in.
Yeah, because like we've
Or
said,
like
both Gojo
sorry.
and Sukuna on that kind of that last 2 pages, they both are smiling too. Sorry, I just wanted to add that.
No, 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 you're all good. I agree with that. I think that like this is like their moment to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because uh the I'm just remembering back in the Shibuya arc, if you read the actual um the volumes, the physical volumes, there's like a after page interview of like everyone saying like what is Gojo to you, and everyone says hey he's the strongest, and when they show him he's alone. Um, so I like the fact that they're bringing up the fact of just like hey being strong sucks,
Mhm.
being the strongest sucks. So yeah,
I don't know, yeah.
so yeah. We do we got anything else to say?
That's all I wanted
Yeah,
to talk about.
I've got nothing else. So I think this is a good point to end it off. So um,
Yeah.
again, thank you so much for listening to episode 37 of the Jumpcast. We really appreciate you. We'll be back, and I believe everyone, me and Max that have traveled, we're both back. I should say believe. I know we're both back at our respective humble abodes, and so the quality should be back to what it was back in
Even
June.
better.
Yeah, it should be even better. Nick's got a new mic. Um, I am working on some stuff, so editing should be a lot better. The quality on top of that should hopefully go up too. So a lot of stuff hopefully in the works.
Yes.
To bring you guys some great more content and maybe some more shorter form content while we're on top of it.
Yeah.
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 If you
Well,
guys have any thoughts of this chapter, please leave it in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear what theories you guys have,
hmm
the smaller theories that people aren't thinking. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you so much for listening. We have been the Jumpcast, and we're happy to see you guys again next week. Bye.
Bye bye.